This is ILTV on the hour, bringing you the biggest stories from Israel and the Middle East in just 5 minutes. I'm Sos Bedrosian, and today is day 629 of the war in Gaza. Let's get into all the top headlines at this hour. It's now the second full day of a fragile ceasefire with Iran, but the regional focus is shifting once again back to Gaza, where the war is still very much ongoing. After the IDF announced 7 soldiers were killed in Gaza on Tuesday, 5 of them have been buried so far. The families of the soldiers have had emotional funerals. Even President Herzog came to send his condolences to these families. Meanwhile, the families of hostages also continue to fight for their loved ones to be free. As the Qatari Foreign Ministry spokesperson said this week, momentum was created by the ceasefire with Iran and Israel, and says they're in touch with all sides to achieve a deal. At this time, media reports say Israel is not planning on sending a delegation to Qatar or Egypt, only once positive developments take shape. Meanwhile, suffering in Gaza continues after Israeli officials decided to reportedly halt aid, citing Hamas continues to steal it and prevent it from being distributed. The Prime Minister's office ordered the IDF to present a plan within 2 days on how to prevent Hamas from grabbing the aid, handing it out by the Israeli and U.S.-backed Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. The pause will reportedly remain in place until the IDF presents its new plan. And members of Iran's parliament broke out in "Death to America" and Israel chants after the parliament speaker announced the Islamic Republic would end its cooperation with the UN nuclear watchdog group after the war with Israel. Let's take a listen to how it all unfolded inside of parliament. Now, the chants happened just 1 day after Iran laid down its ballistic missiles and stopped attacking residential areas in Israel. The parliament speaker said it would suspend its cooperation with the International Atomic Energy Agency. Assisting Iran's nuclear program would now, quote, proceed at a faster pace. The parliament-approved bill, which will now need final approval from Iran's Supreme National Security Council. And U.S. President Donald Trump says the U.S. will meet Iran next week, but that a nuclear deal is no longer needed after its weapons program has been destroyed. Trump also weighed in on an Israeli legal issue, calling for the dismissal of the corruption trial against Netanyahu. In a post on Truth Social, Trump described the trial against Netanyahu as a, quote, witch hunt and a long-running horror show. Trump called the case politically motivated in order to do Netanyahu great harm. Trump called for the trial to be immediately canceled, or he should be given a pardon. And the IDF has revealed that Israeli commandos operated inside Iran during the war. Giving his initial assessment of the 12-day Iran war, IDF Chief Eyal Zamir said the achievements were made possible, among other things, due to the full coordination and deception by air and ground commando forces. Zamir added, the forces operated covertly deep in enemy territory and carried out operations that granted the IDF operational freedom of action. Meanwhile, Mossad head David Barnea issued a rare public statement. Speaking to agents, Barnea said that Israel will be in Iran for years to come. Barnea credited cooperation with the CIA. And just 1 day after missiles stopped flying between Israel and Iran, dozens of Jewish immigrants landed at Ben Gurion Airport on Wednesday. Many of them came from France. Despite the recent violence, they say they're not afraid of them setting foot on Israeli soil. They say it's the fulfillment of a lifelong dream. With war still fresh in the air, these Jewish immigrants will be resettling in new areas. They were welcomed with cheers, flags, different signs as they were in tears as they unloaded off of this plane with their families. Despite the war, they chose to move forward with Aliyah, their immigration to the Jewish state. Of course, these people say they will be raising their families, their children inside of Israel, despite what they had to deal with the anti-Semitism. That is a wrap here on ILTV on the hour. Thanks so much for joining us, and stay with us for the next headlines.